Because Chrissy Lampkin treated a jail call like a therapy session with her sidekick, she may be charged with lying, withholding evidence, and possibly even jeopardizing a federal investigation. But it gets worse. As the court proceedings were taking place, a man's soul left his body in real time, not on TV or in a movie, because what transpired between Jim Jones Camron and Chrissy Lampkin hip-hop's reputation like a wrecking ball through velvet ropes. 1 minute in, Jim Jones collapses as if someone had just cut off his entire reality. What was on those tapes? Who the hell was she whispering to in the dark? And why did Jim collapse as if the truth had knives? Oh, we're not just unpacking this. We're peeling it open layer by layer. Anonymous leaks legal. Picture: Camron enters the courtroom like a red carpet smug, holding a USB like it's some CIA-level top-secret drop. Sabotage a mother's rage and a public downfall of a Harlem icon. This isn't gossip. It's outright warfare behind closed doors. And trust me, this isn't just scandalous. It's Shakespeare in the trap, betrayal, heartbreak, and a courtroom covered in receipts. But wait, this train wreck didn't begin with a judge's gavel. It was brewing for years, and the courtroom was only the last act. This mess left love and hip-hop producers biting their nails and Dipset fans reliving trauma they never agreed to at the time. Here's how the dominoes fell according to a courthouse. Leak, and you already know someone snitched for a text back in a screenshot. Prosecutors had been surreptitiously following Chrissy's suspicious jailhouse calls from the previous year. You remember when she was booked for that tax mishap? Well, that was just the smokescreen, but the plot was about the three legends entangled in a love triangle of secrets: Jim, Chrissy, and Camron. Camron managed to obtain Chrissy's private recordings from jail. Some claim he paid off a guard, while others claim he has been gathering information since Obama's first term with the intention of dropping the bomb. In any case, the judge permitted it, and as soon as those calls came through the courtroom speakers, everything exploded. Insiders claim that Chrissy's voice rang out through the room, but she wasn't discussing her legal defense or calling her mother. Oh no, she was whispering sweet nothings to a man named Reggie. It's not a twist, it's a detonation. There were reporters, a full jury box, and Mona Scott herself was sitting in row 3 with her phone out, recording the exact moment Chrissy said the line, "Jim can't ever find out about Reggie Boom now back." Hell is Reggie from the tape. He was her peace, her backup plan, the man who knew about the baby, the man who never judged her, and the man who wouldn't let her rot in jail like Jim. Jim arrived at court looking like he was ready for a photo. Shoot, dripping out like Harlem royalty in leather with shades and a locked chain. But as soon as Chrissy's voice said Reggie, he fell to the ground like a ghost had entered him. One eyewitness claimed that it appeared as though someone had told Jim that his entire life had been a lie. 1 minute he was standing tall. The next minute he was in the news, the judge cleared the room, and Chrissy didn't blink, leaning back as if he had just made the game-winning shot in Madison Square Garden. Let's talk about what Chrissy actually said in those calls. In one made, 48 hours after she was locked up, she told Reggie, "Jim thinks I'm in here stressing over him, but he never really knew me. You always kept it real. Even worse, if they test the baby's DNA, it's done. But Jim doesn't ask questions. He just performs." Yes, she did. Jim and Camron haven't been cool in forever. This show up to expose Chrissy. In a fourth call, Chrissy said, "Cam has been waiting to see me fall since 2012. Let him take his shot." This was recorded on tape with the stenographer pausing like, "You want me to type what?" By the end of the day, the internet exploded with hashtags like Liner, Shuck Reggie Exposed, Shaky Free Jim, and Sewer Soccer Chrissy. Files were everywhere, fans were looking for them. Didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or unsubscribe to HBO because this courtroom drama was hotter than a summer virus, and just when you thought it was over, Mama Jones showed up. That's right. Jim's mother entered the courthouse like the last boss in a fight game, and the moment she learned why her son had fainted, let's just say Chrissy should have hired a lawyer twice. The atmosphere changed as soon as Mama Jones entered, and the court officers froze, phones dropped, someone swore. They heard a choir in the background, and the time slipped. Clock allegedly, and I say allegedly because the courtroom footage hasn't been leaked yet. Mama Jones approached Chrissy without saying a word and gave her a slap so forceful that the echo reverberated off the walls of the courtroom as if it were official evidence. One person in the back whispered, "It sounded like lightning." The building went into a frenzy, and Chrissy didn't flinch. Instead, she blinked slowly. This is where things get really crazy. That's for lying about the baby. No yelling, no explanation. Just that Mike dropped Chrissy, and she didn't answer, instead glancing at the judge and asking, "So, you're not going to cover?" But let's be honest, even the judge looked shaken. You don't put cuffs on Mama Jones, you just let her speak her piece and hope she doesn't flip the entire courtroom. Security hurried in and quickly separated them. But by the time the incident went viral online, the damage had already been done. Chrissy was already trending memes when Jim arrived in the medical room. One of them featured her in jail and said, "So, Reggie, you got a storyline or nah?" While another featured Mama Jones with a phony quote that said, "I've been waiting to do that since 2009. But wait, this isn't even the most bizarre part. Later that day, when the court reconvened, the prosecution dropped all 4 jail calls that Camron had provided, 2 of which were brand new. The third call, which set the room on fire, shows Chrissy telling Reggie, "If I go down, I'm dragging Jim with me. I've been cleaning up after him for years." But what does that mean? The prosecution wasted no time in pursuing the case as if it were a touchdown. According to sources, Chrissy's legal team attempted to block the video, claiming she was simply venting and emotionally stressed. But the DA countered that it suggested something much more serious, such as possible fraud, tax issues, or even the misuse of love and hip-hop production. Funds, yes, that's what it's come to. According to court insiders, there is documentation from Season 3 that shows Chrissy listed as a creative consultant and receiving payment for episodes in which she didn't even appear. To make matters worse, a leaked document that surfaced on your X Twitter just minutes after the court reveals that she received over $75,000 in bonuses, all of which were paid out through a company called Hustle Forever Entertainment LLC. You guessed it. Jim Jones was a co-founder of that company. Companies with dubious producers who have phony job titles, and the DA are digging deep. Word is that an internal investigation has been quietly started, and one of the names that comes up is Mona Scott herself. She is accused of following the money, which allegedly leads to a spin-off series that was never filmed, but was still paid out. That's not even the word back in the courtroom. Things continued to spiral out of control. Chrissy's lawyers attempted to stop Camron from testifying, calling him resentful and biased, but the judge rejected their request, so Camron stood up and led it. I knew I kept quiet out of respect, but when I saw Jim defending her as if she were a victim, I couldn't let that go. He added, "She'd been running game from day one. That ain't love, that's a long con." Before the defense could even protest, Cam hit him with another bomb. She told me that back in 2018, she was done pretending. I thought she meant the relationship. But the entire courtroom gasped, and the judge had to pause and call a recess. Jim was back in the courtroom by then, as if they were fighting over a parking ticket. Chrissy didn't look at him once and instead kept whispering to her lawyer. Outside the courthouse, where chaos broke out, protesters appeared holding signs that read, "Justice for Jim, Chrissy lied, we cried, Mama Jones was right, and the blogs, oh, they didn't just catch fire, they detonated. Shade Room, Baylor alert." Hollywood Unlocked were all in full-blown crisis mode, dropping exclusives every 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We always knew Chrissy played chess, but we were unaware that she rigged the board. Remy Ma allegedly posted disparaging remarks and then deleted a mysterious Instagram story, which I knew she was shady the day she got down on one knee. Jim has been under the man who gave us We Fly High, Jim Jones, isn't some up-and-coming rapper. He's a Harlem monument, a dipset king, and he's now trending for courtroom collapses, betrayal, and a scandal so thick it's rewriting history. Meanwhile, Camron, deep in his petty villain era, went live outside the courthouse, smirking, and captioned it, "Y'all, I don't miss this." The DA recently teased new witnesses who will testify next week, and if even a small portion of the rumors are accurate, we're talking about federal heat fraud, perjury, and wiretaps. All of this started with a jailhouse call to a man named Reggie, who most likely fixes mufflers at AutoZone and had no idea that he would end up becoming one of Harlem's most despised people. Just when people thought things couldn't get any messier, Chrissy Lampkin was formally under investigation for conspiracy to commit. The room exploded as soon as Jim Jones hit the floor, and the courtroom was transformed into a circus. Security stormed in, gasps echoed, and the judge slammed her gavel as if she were calling Game 7. However, that fainting spell was only Act 1 because of what's about to happen, which has fans, feds, and old friends all wondering, what's real, what's a setup, and when the smoke clears, who's left standing? Is not your typical meltdown on reality TV. Rather, it's a multi-million-dollar collapse with legal vultures circling, reputations collapsing, and the love and hip-hop empire hanging by a thread. Let's examine what comes next, and believe me, it's not just ugly, it's career-ending. 2. Start, the feds are no longer just watching from the sidelines. They have officially started an investigation. It should come as no surprise that once those jail calls, filled with conspiracy, hush money, and messy secrets, hit court, they turned into evidence. And the FBI Cybercrimes Division is already tracking how this isn't just about phone calls. We're looking at wire fraud, obstruction, and tampering if they connect the dots. While Jim was unconscious on the courtroom floor, Camron was busy playing puppet master. Some claim he timed the leak to flip the narrative, painting himself as the truth teller of this whole messy saga. But Chrissy's camp isn't having it. They're accusing Camron of illegally obtaining the recordings. Her legal team has already hinted at a countersuit privacy laws. One of Chrissy's attorneys even described it as a desperate move by a desperate man who is neck-deep in the same lies. However, this is where things get really twisted, as several legal analysts think Camron may have just played it smart by dropping those calls in open court, forcing the prosecution to shift the focus from Jim's guilt to who's behind this whole mess. Tweeted, "Jim fainted because he realized his whole career was built on Chrissy's lies. Cam just knocked over the house of cards." Another fan shared a TikTok of cartoon Jim Jones. Lied. It's about who covered it up, and the streets, oh, they're eating it up. Char justice for Jim Camron exposes and the inevitable Cherisi. Gate are trending worldwide. Fans are split like never before. Arguments, memes, theories, and chaos. This drama isn't just emotional. Its financial sponsors are pulling out, advertisers are panicking, and the Love and Hip Hop franchise has reportedly lost millions in deals, partnerships, and merchandise sales since the scandal erupted. It's already clocked millions of views, and other celebrities are joining in, some slickly criticizing in interviews, and others unfollowing quietly in the hopes of avoiding being caught in the blast zone. No brand wants their name associated with this degree of toxic behavior. It's PR suicide, and we're losing money. Jim's own earnings are in freefall. His endorsements are canceled. Promoters are dropping him, and the ripple effect is vicious and only getting worse. Meanwhile, Chrissy Lampkin has vanished from public life, making no interviews or public statements. Some claim it's guilt, while others claim it's a strategy. Is she negotiating a plea deal? Betraying someone more powerful? Or is her team getting ready to retaliate? One thing is certain, though. She's not done. And neither is this. Chrissy's supporters are launching intense online campaigns to repair her reputation, regardless of the situation. They say she's just the latest victim in a smear campaign that was created by envious insiders who have secrets to hide and scores to settle. But let's ignore the noise and talk about the mysterious child that was mentioned in those jail calls. If that paternity drama turns into another court battle and those DNA results leak, bro, We're looking at a full-blown one anonymous crew member put it bluntly. They're talking about cast purges, major script rewrites, maybe even a complete reboot, but let's be honest with this much. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, sources claim that the entire Love and Hip Hop production team is spiraling into emergency meetings, damage control, and whispered talks about delaying or even completely scrapping future seasons' music. There's dirt in the air, and if the franchise fails, it won't just be the stars who lose. Hundreds of crew members, local businesses, and entire production teams will also lose their jobs. The fallout is real. So what comes next? Buckle up, because this legal battle is only getting started. Sealed documents could leak at any moment. Courtroom battles are becoming more intense, and social media is only adding fuel to the fire. Let's face it, this entire scandal has completely changed the rules for celebrities. Meltdowns, emotional breakdowns, betrayal, jail calls, DNA drama, and yes, Jim Jones fainting on camera. If you thought this mess couldn't get any messier, a VH1 whistleblower just leaked a list of cast members who were subpoenaed for questioning. Can you guess whose name was circled in red? Now it's your turn. Was Camron brilliant for making those jail calls, or did he cross a line that could backfire? Is Jim Jones concealing something sinister, or was that fainting spell just the beginning of a larger breakdown? And what about Chrissy, the puppet master or pawn caught in the crossfire? I want your best opinions in the comments section. Don't be shy. Tell me who you're supporting, who will be exposed next, and what twist you think will turn this story upside down. If this drama has you reeling, hit the like button and make sure to ring that bell and subscribe because, believe me, the tea is still steeping and we're just getting started. Isn't just a scandal. This is history in the making, and you're here for every single thing. Drop.